As the initial phase of Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russian invaders unfolds on the battlefield, a multitude of warplanes from some of Ukraine's strongest backers dominate the skies over Germany, where NATO is conducting its most extensive aerial war games to date. Under the official title of Air Defender 2023, or AD-23, this air combat exercise marks the largest in NATO's history and is currently in progress. AD-23 is scheduled to take place between June 12th through the 23rd. Germany, taking substantial responsibility for the coordination of the event, has meticulously planned AD-23 since 2018. According to a NATO press release, Air Defender 2023 is bringing together 250 warplanes, including 190 fighter jets, and 10,000 troops in drills designed to boost the alliance's preparedness and ability to protect against aircraft, drones, and missile attacks on cities and critical infrastructure. In this video, Defense Updates reports on Air Defender 2023 exercise. Let's get started. Bringing 25 nations and NATO, this exercise has a significant U.S. military presence, as the U.S. Air National Guard, ANG, contributes approximately 100 aircraft, making up nearly half of the total fleet involved. Germany's contribution to the exercise is noteworthy, with over 60 aircraft from their forces actively participating. Specific aerial assets in AD-23 will include a wide range of aircraft, including the F-35A, F-15C, and F-16, the A-10C Typhoon, the KC-135 and KC-46A tankers for refueling operation, and the C-17A and C-130J aircraft as the ANG's primary modes of transportation. An MQ-9 Reaper drone from the Texas Air Guard's 147th Attack Wing will be employed. Some reports indicate that U.S. Navy F/A-18 fighters will also be utilized for the exercise. 3 air exercise areas will be used for 2 to 4 hours a day, according to Germany's Air Command. Lieutenant General Michael A. Lowe, director of the U.S. Air National Guard, stated during a press conference at the German Embassy in Washington back in April, Air Defender 23 strategically unites the United States and Germany. The exercise tests not only our interoperability to work together, but it also tests our ability to rapidly deploy and rapidly employ coalition air power. The Bundeswehr noted AD-23 seeks to test the joint responsiveness of Allied air forces in a crisis situation. Throughout the 11-day exercise, a diverse range of simulated training missions will be executed, encompassing combined air assaults that confront formidable challenges such as dense surface-to-air missile systems and electronic warfare threats. The training will also emphasize offensive and defensive counter-air operations, serving as a focal point for enhancing participants' capabilities. AD-23 will also provide U.S. forces and allies with opportunities to practice interoperability beyond aerial maneuvers. For example, 2 USAF B-1B Lancers landed at Mihail Kogalnicinu Air Base, Romania, for hot pit refueling. Hot pit refueling provides aircraft with the ability to land and refuel without the need to shut down their engines, resulting in quicker turnaround times and increased operational readiness by ensuring the aircraft can remain in a flyable state. In addition to its objective of enhancing and broadening cooperation among the participating nations, AD-23, as highlighted by the Bundeswehr, is designed based on a NATO Article 5 assistance scenario. Article 5 provides that if a NATO ally is the victim of an armed attack, each and every other member of the alliance will consider this act of violence as an armed attack against all members, and will take the actions it deems necessary to assist the ally attacked. NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time in its history after the September 11th terrorist attacks against the United States. According to NATO, exercises based on an Article 5 assistance scenario aim to simulate a conflict involving NATO partners against hybrid occupation forces from a fictional adversary. Lieutenant General Ingo Gerhards, Germany's Air Force chief who's overseeing AD-23, told ZDF television, as the Associated Press reports, "The exercise is a signal above all to us, a signal to us, the NATO countries, but also to our population that we're in a position to react very quickly, that we would be able to defend the alliance in case of attack." While AD-23 does not officially aim to simulate scenarios involving specific adversaries, the initial planning process appears to have been influenced by Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. According to Lieutenant General Gerhards, who proposed the exercise and spoke about its motivation, "The trigger for me was the capture, the annexation of Crimea," as reported by the New York Times. During a recent briefing on AD-23, U.S. Ambassador to Germany, Amy Gutman, highlighted the significance of the exercise, stating, "I would be pretty surprised if any world leader was not taking note of what this shows in terms of the spirit of this alliance, which means the strength of this alliance. That includes Mr. Putin, as noted by the Times." However, some key figures within the German military power circle have adopted a different standpoint, possibly to avoid escalating tensions with Russia. Lieutenant General Gunther Katz, the commanding general for the Bundeswehr Air Force Command, clarified that the decision to start planning for AD-23 was made in 2018 and actually has nothing to do with the Russia-Ukraine war. In response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, starting in February 2022, NATO has maintained an elevated force posture. This has involved carrying out regular exercise, like Steadfast Noon, and conducting a range of inter-allied naval drills across Europe. Notably, there have been frequent deployments of U.S. aircraft to Europe and Eastern Europe, especially following the annexation of Crimea. These deployments persist to this day and involve joint training exercises with local air forces. It's evident that Russia's all-out war with Ukraine has resulted in uneasiness in Europe and is one of the key reasons why AD-23 has been formulated. It's interesting to note in this context that some reports indicate that Germany is likely to increase its defense budget by as much as 10 billion euros, that's 10.7 billion American dollars, next year to help fund additional spending needs triggered by Russia's war on Ukraine. All in all, it's not hard to see that Western allies are taking the Russian threat more seriously than ever and making moves that will help them counter any eventuality better.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.